ask Senator Trevor Ó Clochartaigh to move his motion.
Good meal, Madare, Blackmanish Kulitari Togal and Kesha, Tomabuchatare for Ivancha. About 2 months ago, Minister, or maybe 3 at this stage, we heard about a scandal relating to a former head of a summer college who also worked in other capacities where he had access to young people. This man has since passed away, but there have been serious allegations made, which apparently have been made to different state agencies and arms of the state over the last 40, 50 years. The date back to 1955, I think, is the earliest case that was taken against this particular individual. Apparently, this individual worked with a number of different state organisations, the VECs being one of them. There was other organisations which did receive funding through state funding systems. The Minister obviously took this very seriously, the Minister for Justice, and has called for 3 internal inquiries, one through the HSE, one through the Department of Education, and another one in the Department of Justice and the Gardaí, asking them to internally investigate what allegations were made about this individual and what actions were taken. I think we've let a certain amount of time pass to ask the question which I'm putting to the Minister this evening, which is what engagement has there been with those 3 agencies regarding the internal investigations? What is the timescale that is being envisaged? How far back are these 3 organisations going to look, taking into consideration that some of the allegations date back to 1955 and that there were a number of court cases pending which never went through fully. We're also aware that there was another settlement that was made outside of court, which went a certain distance within the court system, and also the differing organisations involved in this scenario. There have been quite a number of victims that have come forward in this case to the media. Some of them have done it publicly and some have done it anonymously, but I know that there are at least, I think, 11 people who are claiming to have been abused by this individual, and that abuse seems to have been widespread by all the reports. The terms of reference for the investigation, I think, are very important as well. Who's going to investigate? What type of investigation is going to be done? Is it going to be purely a review of files that are held in those organisations? Is it going to cover all correspondence, etc.? Is it going to look back at any payments that might have been made, any settlements that might have been made with any individuals who are claiming to have been abused by this man? It's a very, very serious issue, and I'm in contact with a couple of the individuals who have been abused. They're very, very distraught by the whole thing. They want to feel that they get some sort of closure to what has happened and answers to why a man who would apparently have been abusing children since 1955 was allowed to continue in positions of power and positions of authority and continue this abuse up until very, very recently. So I look forward to your answer, Minister, and might come in with a supplementary question then.
Thank you, Senator. Minister Ryan.
Thank you very much. I am speaking on behalf of the Minister for Justice and Equality, who regrets that he's unable to be present here due to other business. I believe, in fact, he's in the other house taking questions. But I'd like to thank, on behalf of the Minister, the Senator for again raising this important matter. As the Minister has previously made clear, the allegations regarding the person in question are indeed very disturbing. He would again encourage anyone in any situation who has been abused to come forward to report their concerns and to avail of the counselling which is available from the HSE or from one of the voluntary groups working in this field. And I'd have to say myself, as a Minister for Health, I would equally encourage people in these situations to express their concerns, their worries, and to come forward and speak to the professionals who are available to help them. I know that's a difficult thing to do. The preliminary report which the Minister received from the Garda authorities set out how in 1997 a criminal investigation was instigated into allegations of sexual abuse, which led to the person in question being charged with numerous counts of sexual offences, as the Senator has mentioned. As the Minister outlined at the time of the Senator's earlier inquiry, he is advised that judicial review proceedings were taken by the accused for reasons related to delay in the bringing of complaints, and that arising from these proceedings, the prosecution fell. The Senator will appreciate that the bringing of prosecutions and their management is a matter for the direction of the DPP, who makes independent decisions having regard to the circumstances of the case in question. The Minister has no role in this process and quite properly is not in a position to explain decisions of the Director. More recently, arrangements have been made by the Gardaí with a further injured party to take a statement, but this has not taken place prior to the person in question's death. Concerns expressed in connection with the suggestion that the person in question was seeking to visit schools to promote a book were also under consideration at the time of the death. The examination which the Garda Commissioner has directed be carried out concerning the procedures surrounding the handling of the complaints against this person is at an advanced stage, and a report will be submitted to the Commissioner in the near future. Insofar the terms of reference of this examination are concerned, these will be a matter for the Commissioner, but he has already indicated that the focus will be on whether any lessons can be learned from the handling of the above complaints and subsequent investigations. As this is an internal Garda examination, it would not be the normal practice for such reports to be published. However, the Minister will examine in due course how any key findings might be put into the public domain and will engage with his ministerial colleagues on the outcome of the examination. The Senator will appreciate that the other inquiries being carried out into this matter are not taking place under the auspices of the Minister for Justice and Equality, so he is not in a position to comment on them. However, it is envisaged that on their completion there will be coordination between the various departments involved to see what lessons might be learned. The dreadful accounts of abuse in this case and the testimonies of those who have gone public with their experiences in recent months bear out the lessons we have learned from other inquiries and investigations in recent years. It is imperative that we have in place the strongest possible child protection measures. The Minister would like to emphasise that since taking up office, this government has transformed child protection arrangements in Ireland and is pushing forward with further major improvements. We now have revised Children First guidance, which is to be put on a statutory footing by the Minister for Children and Youth Affairs, and which sets out excellent standards and procedures involving reporting of allegations to the authorities and training to support this process. These standards are complemented by the Criminal Justice Withholding of Information on Offences Against Children and Vulnerable Persons Act 2012 and the National Vetting Bureau Children and Vulnerable Persons Act 2012, both introduced by Minister Shatter. Moreover, the arrangements for interagency working at all levels have been strengthened, supported by the ongoing reform of children and family services in the HSE and the work to establish a child and family support agency. An Garda Síochána has also in place a new and comprehensive policy on the investigation of sexual crime, crimes against children and child welfare. Insofar as the particular sector in question in this case is concerned, the Minister is assured by his colleague, the Minister for Art, Heritage and the Gaeltacht, that there are clear and robust child protection procedures in place in Irish summer colleges and in households accommodating students. This involves, inter alia, each college authority being required to develop and implement a written policy to prevent any form of child abuse, bullying or any antisocial behaviour during courses. In addition, the Departments of Art, Heritage and the Gaeltacht, in cooperation with Concos, the umbrella organisation for the colleges, assists with the training and coaching of college employees with regard to the implementation of Children First guidance both inside and outside the classroom, and in the households where the students are accommodated, most importantly. All households providing accommodation for students in the Gaeltacht and all employees of Irish summer colleges are checked with the Garda vetting unit. This transformation of child protection arrangements has been motivated by the very disturbing lessons we have learned from the past. If there are further lessons to be learned from this case, or indeed from others, the Minister is determined that this will be done. For this reason, he believes that the Garda review should be allowed to proceed and its results considered carefully. He will also engage with his ministerial colleagues on any lessons they feel can be learned insofar as their respective organisations are concerned. On behalf of the Minister, I would like again to thank the Senator for raising this important issue and will certainly share the points he has made with the relevant ministers.
Thank you, Minister.
Gurmil Magadara, I welcome the reply. It's good to hear that the Garda Commissioner's investigation is at an advanced stage, and I would welcome, obviously we would welcome that report coming out as soon as possible. I note that the Minister says he has no jurisdiction over the other two investigations going forward, but I might tap on Desh, as they say in Irish, seeing as one of the other investigations is in relation to the HSE. I'm not going to spring it on you, Minister, but I might ask you if you could go back to the HSE, because they were to actually, one of the other reviews that was to be done internally was in the HSE regarding this particular individual, and there was to be an internal investigation as to any allegations that have been made over the years against this person. So perhaps you might correspond with me after this, Minister, if you have a chance to raise this with the HSE as to how their investigation is going, and I'll maybe refer to the Minister of Education as regards the investigation they're doing in future.
Yeah, well, again, on behalf of the Minister, I'd like to thank the Senator for his remarks, and I will share your views with the relevant ministers, as I have said. I will absolutely come back to you vis-à-vis the HSE and its investigation. The Minister for Justice has indicated that, subject to consultation with the Garda Commissioner, he will examine how any key findings from the Garda review might be appropriately put into the public domain, and will also engage with his ministerial colleagues on any lessons to be learned from the perspective of any of the other organisations in question. So in conclusion, I'd simply like to reiterate the Minister's expressions of sympathy with all those affected, and his hope that they will be able to avail of the counselling assistance which is on offer. And could I, as Minister for Health, join with the Minister in expressing those expressions of sympathy. I think we want our children to be safe. It's a terrible, sad reflection on previous Irish life that so many were left in such exposed conditions that people could take advantage, and that the mechanisms didn't seem to be in place to deal with those who were individuals who would take advantage of children in a speedy fashion to prevent them having numerous victims. But sadly, that's the history and the legacy we have. But as the Minister has pointed out, we must learn from those mistakes and ensure that all things in the future are done in such a way as to put child protection to the fore.
Thank you very much, Minister. The House now stands adjourned until 2:30 on Tuesday next.